Welcome back to the podcast, folks. And today I'm talking with Jon Luc and Charlotte. They met through YouTube and in just a couple of years have gone from selling at home to joining forces as a couple and as a business. And now they turn over 100K. Oh, and there's lots more in between too, so stay tuned. Hey, I'm Car Boot Chris. I'm a full-time UK online reseller. I operate mainly on eBay and also Whatnot, but also some other platforms as well. I'm going to bring you regular podcasts all about reselling, hopefully to keep you company, to entertain, or maybe to educate, who knows. Welcome to the Everything Reselling Podcast. Welcome back, everybody. Thanks for joining us on the podcast again. It is episode 6, season 4. So we've got another good one today. We've got 2 for the price of 1. And before we get there, I need to say thank you to our sponsor, Reselling. So even now more than ever, it's worth having a look at Reselling. I'm not just saying that because they are sponsoring the podcast. I use it myself. Vinted Pro has just started. And if now's the time you're looking for a cross-listing tool from eBay to Vinted Pro, now is when you need to look at it because it's a great tool. If you're anything like me as a reseller, you're probably always looking at ways to make more money, to cross-list to different platforms, and to basically sell your stuff a little bit smarter. That's where Reselling comes in. It's a built-in browser plugin that helps you to cross-list to different platforms, both in the UK and the US. I've tried a few different products like this, you know that, and this one actually is a bit of a game changer. It's an all-in-one sort of tool. You can also use their growth bots for Depop and Vinted in the UK and Poshmark as well in the US. You can relist items, you can bulk edit listings, which is pretty much unheard of on platforms at the moment. You can also send out offers and a lot more. If you do want to sign up, there's a link in the YouTube description and a link in the podcast description. It's an affiliate link, so I do earn a little bit off it, but you get a discount off your first month and you get access to an amazing tool. Big thank you to Reselling for sponsoring the podcast on this series. Anyway, let's crack on with it. We need to bring on our guests. So a big welcome to Jon Luc and Charlotte. Hi, guys.
Hello.
Hi, how we doing?
I'm good, thank you. Thank you so much for coming on. Really appreciate it. I know you are dead busy.
Yeah, we are busy, but it was our pleasure. I really wanted to come on, so I'm happy.
Oh,
We're happy to do it. Happy to do it.
Thank you both so much. Do you want to give a little introduction about yourselves first before we start?
Yeah, so I'm Jon Luc. Done reselling for about 8 years, 7-8 years. Started a YouTube channel just before lockdown. It was probably like 2-3 weeks before lockdown. I was excited to get going to like the car boots and stuff, and then the door slammed shut. So, and then we started the YouTube from there. Yeah, and we've just grown from being in Manchester in the loft and the shed, and then met Charlotte through YouTube, and then moved down here. But I don't know about your side of the story.
So I've been doing reselling about 2 or 3 years, and I was watching loads of different YouTubers. I was getting ready to start up going as a sole trader. And I didn't really know many people my age doing it. So I saw Jon and I thought, I'll ask him how I officially start everything up, because I had no clue whatsoever in terms of running a business, how to get going.
The tax stuff.
The tax, how to register. I was overwhelmed. So, yeah, I messaged Jon and then here we are.
Yeah, it was a strange one. I had a holiday booked in Cornwall about a week after we started talking, and we just kind of met up. So
yeah. He came down for the first time to death.
It was just kind of, because if I didn't have that holiday booked, it probably didn't want to happen, would it? It was just...
No. I was like, we'll meet up, we'll go to some charity shops and hang out. And then you never went home, did you?
No, well.
Yeah, it seems that way. Yeah, definitely. Yeah. So I just need to say as well, congrats on your engagement earlier this year, right?
Oh, thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah, that was awesome. That's really nice.
Yeah, we got the blushing bride mug.
Yeah.
People seem to have almost followed your journey like as a couple, like from the start on YouTube. It's kind of unique in that respect, isn't it?
Yeah.
Well, you vlogged our first date, charity shop date. So we were put out there from the very start, from the first few days of knowing each other. So
That first video, I think it's like we went on a charity shop day. That was kind of like one of the first days we met, wasn't it?
It was the second day we'd ever met. So really early to put it on YouTube.
Yeah.
But I said to Jon, I kind of knew from day one that was kind of it for me. So.
Worked out.
Okay. Right. Nice.
Here we are.
How did you feel about going on camera? Like, were you on camera that early, Charlotte? You know, like in that video? Because I'm not sure I've seen that video.
You weren't like speaking into it. You was kind of like there, weren't you?
Yeah, I was there. He was vlogging his perspective, so you see me from behind, and I may say, "Oh, what's that you've got?" But I was very shy.
Yeah.
I would never have done YouTube myself or done any videoing or socials. Even to do a story on Instagram, I would barely do those.
Yeah, remember when you made your first reel and you was like,
I was so nervous.
You had a very nervous voice, and it is nerve-wracking, you know.
Yeah.
It's just, I know you, Chris, you've done it for years and years now. It's just become second nature on it. But at first, it is kind of like, oh, what do I say?
But now I'm on camera doing live selling 16 or so hours a week. So now it's just
mad. That's mad though, isn't it? That you've come like in just like, what is it, like 3 years or something?
Yeah, just 2 years.
Yeah, we met
2 years.
Just over 2 years ago, yeah.
2 years you've gone from that to this. And there's so much in between, right? Because I was sat down earlier this morning just thinking about this podcast and like, what am I gonna ask these guys, and how are we gonna even unpick this last couple of years and how you've got to where you are? Because it's like there's so many like moments that, and they're the things that we know as viewers and that I know of you guys. And I don't know you like super well. You know, we've done some deals and stuff, but you know, we know what we know from YouTube mostly. So there's probably loads of other bits and bobs in between. And I was trying to rack my brains as to like, what are the important things that I know about? And obviously it starts with YouTube because that's how you both met, right? So we've kind of had that story. And what were you, Charlotte, you were selling stuff in your home, was it? Before you met?
I was just doing it in my lounge and bedroom. So I had a mannequin against a white wall in my lounge. And I sold a lot of women's wear, homeware, but nothing on a crazy scale. Few pieces.
Like a side hustle type thing.
It was my main thing because before that I'd spent a few years in and out of hospital, so that was kind of my gateway back into like the working world where I could do it from home when and if I felt well enough. So that was me finding my feet, because before that I was like, what am I going to do, because I can't have a normal job. And I came across Sarah Resells on Instagram and saw her do it, and I thought maybe I can do that. So by chance I was moving house, and my grandpa was an avid collector of everything, books, train sets, and it was down to me to find a place for them. So I sold a lot of it on Facebook, and that's when I thought, hang on, this is really fun. I had 40 years worth of stuff to sell from my grandpa's, a whole house and attic.
His lifetime, right?
His lifetime, yeah. So from there, but now that's all gone, and I've moved into a new house and I've got my own lounge and space. Maybe I could try doing what these guys do.
And Jon, you were like in your attic, weren't you? Because I remember your early videos.
Yeah, so even 2-3 years before that, I was like in college, and I'd be watching, Nick, Zahir, Ben Fitzpatrick and stuff, and it was just the usual pickups of box sets and games, and the score, different board games, and you'd watch Nick wrapping them in brown paper, and you'd try and copy it the same. I mean, everyone's gone through the same process, I feel. So I did that for a couple of years on and off. Just when you're young, you kind of just want to do stuff, and so I was kind of doing it here and there, like a side hustle almost, because I was in college, I had a job and stuff. But I always knew I was pretty good at it, and I had an eye for stuff. So
you're a collector, so you have an eye for what things.
So I've always
you always picked up the collectibles and your toys and stuff, didn't you?
Yeah, because I know you're a collector yourself. You always have an eye. You could look at a table of collectibles and go, that's the special one. You have an eye for it, don't you? Almost. So yeah, it's just an extension of like the hobby of collecting, isn't it? You're picking up
so fun.
Yeah, you're picking up fun stuff, and that's as well. We sell a lot of beauty products now. I still get a buzz out of selling what I love as well. You know what I mean? Charlotte loves the makeup. I love all the collectibles and stuff.
You got the best of both worlds, haven't you? You both got something that you're really interested in. And I think it helps a lot as well. Like when people ask me, like, how should I start, my reselling, I always just say start with something you enjoy, that you collect, or that you've got an interest in, because at least it is, an active interest that you can then buy and sell in. It's a good way to start.
Yeah, the best place to start is always from things around your home you're no longer feel love for or use for, and then reinvesting that into cash for yourself, or put it back into something you do like, because that is the easiest way to start. It's no upfront goods. It's just there. So that's how everyone starts, I feel.
Yeah, that's the piece of advice when people say, how do I start? And they just, learn the platform by selling something from your living room. That's
sell your own stuff.
Best way in it. Yeah.
It's never been easier to do that.
Risk-free in it, yeah.
Yeah, it's easy now, isn't it? It's a lot easier now than what it was. I mean, we didn't have Vinted. 100%. Well, might have been Vinted around, but I don't think it was wholly used.
Yeah.
But yeah, Vinted and eBay now with fee-frees, for private sellers, it's a no-brainer for people to get going, isn't it?
100%.
Yeah, they're going head-to-head now, aren't they? I'm assuming eBay are going to be. They're going to have to do something, aren't they? They're going to have to pull something out, because if Vinted Pro takes off like it looks like it's going to in the small business world, they've got something to be worried about.
You think of Depop, they've got no fees. Vinted have got no fees. eBay really need to do something for the business.
Yeah, especially because Vinted's free for businesses as well now.
Yeah, they're going to have to do something.
And I think
Vinted Pro got to move, haven't they?
Yeah, Vinted Pro will only get better for the businesses as well. Like, it'll be more optimized. I don't know if they've got SKU. Have they got SKU system yet? I don't think they do.
No.
So like they'll, once they add little things here and there, then it'll be like the complete package. Yeah, I can see where eBay will have a problem.
Definitely. So after you guys sort of met up and you started sort of seeing each other, and you were doing your own thing as well as being a couple. At what point did you decide that you were going to sort of move in together and move down south, Jon?
So we travelled for a few months, didn't we? So
I do a week in Manchester. Jon would come. At that time, Jon wasn't doing it massively because he had a bit of a bad place with his mental health. So he was just finding his feet with it again. And when I'd go to Manchester, I'd go to the charity shops, buy stuff, list it on eBay and Vinted or wherever, and then I would just buy the label through Raw Mail and do it that way with Jon's printer. So I was just selling when I was there, and would take a suitcase with me. So I made it work. It wasn't anything like a full-time, full scale.
Yeah, I was literally, I weren't making, well, that was like just after I restarted YouTube on it. So it was just kind of finding my feet. Just like,
you did that return video, like, I'm going to get back into it, and you hadn't really started it yet. It was just like a sit down, like, I'm back, I'm going to try and find my feet again.
Yeah, it was just kind of
that week later we met.
Accountability video, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Like, you know what I mean? So,
I remember that. Yeah. You came back after a break, didn't you? And good on you for sort of getting your head sorted out.
Yeah. It's just like, just needed that time away, and we come back stronger, didn't we? But it took a while. It takes months and months.
It took months and months. It wasn't like back to full swing overnight. It was a lot of hurdles in the way.
It's like a footballer like doing their ACL or something. Do you know what I mean? It takes, it's like mental rehab almost, isn't it? Do you know what I mean? To get yourself back, not like match sharpness, but like, do you know what I mean? Just like firing at all cylinders, like doing YouTube and eBay. It's so taxing on the brain and stuff. So
big step to go down to Devon, isn't it?
100%. You've never been away from home, had you?
No.
Like, moved away.
No.
I said to my dad, I was like, I really like him, Dad. Is there any way like he can come and live with us? My dad picked me up from the airport, and I said to him, I really like him, Dad. It'd been like a few months of going back and forth, and Jon had stayed with us for
like a week,
quite a bit of time.
Yeah.
And the first thing my dad did actually was buy Jon a shed. Bless him. He bought a shed.
That's nice.
And built it. And we went inside, and it was a small little shed. And I said, I don't think this is going to work. It's too small. So
like her gran like leveled out the garden and stuff. They built a shed.
Oh, it took ages. And
then it was very. I'll try and find a picture actually.
It was tiny. My dad had put laminate in, lights. He'd really tried to make it like a nice space for Jon to work from. He did it all off his own back. He like paid for it. He kitted it out, even though I don't.
What a nice thing to do though, just to kind of
he wanted
make
Jon to
him
have
feel
his own
welcome.
space. Yeah. But we said this isn't going to work. Like, it's going to fit maybe one rack in for about 50 items. So I went up to my gran and I said, oh, Gran, is there any way we can have your garage and we move your stuff from the garage into the shed so Jon can work out of the garage.
Yeah.
And my like, no problem whatsoever, we'll do it today, like straight on it. So then we started painting the garage and we leveled out the garage floor, and Dad and you built the racks, and that was like, okay, we're somewhere. That's like, here's the starting point. But that's Jon in the shed.
Blimey, yeah.
But bless
Yeah.
my dad, he done it up so nice. And but yeah,
It was one of them things, wasn't it? It was one of them things. It gets used today, so it wasn't a waste of a shed.
my grand's got all her stuff in there still, hasn't
Yeah.
she? But that garage was the start of Jon's.
So I felt like it was good for my mental health as well, as like a new chapter to leave Manchester as well. So it felt like the right move as well.
Like a fresh start, isn't it?
It was like a fresh start, yeah. It's you know, like just completely distancing yourself from whatever's happened in the past and just starting fresh, and that's what we did, didn't we?
Yeah, we did it from nothing, didn't you? It was an empty garage, and you did it bit by bit, day by day.
Yeah. That's good.
Yeah.
That's good. Do you miss it? Do you miss Manchester?
Not really. No. I when I go for a week, it's great. You know what I mean? But like, I'm ready to come home, man. Do you know what I mean? I feel like it's a bit crazy. I like the quiet of Plymouth or quiet of Devon. You know, because I've lived there for 21 years. You kind of get over it a little bit. The one thing I do miss is going to the City games. I used to have a season ticket, of course.
Oh, yeah,
so that's a big miss.
And that's something I felt really bad about, because him and his dad had done that for years, and I felt like I took Jon away from that. But...
That was a big miss. But like, that's 3 hours in the week. The rest of the week, I was miserable. You know what I mean? So it's kind of like, you know, something's got to give on it. So, so yeah, when I go up there, try and get a couple of games in if I can do.
Yeah, it's always worth it, isn't it?
Yeah, hopefully Plymouth can go up again. So, you know, maybe we can be Plymouth and City. You know, I think they're not doing too bad.
We've got Rooney now, haven't we?
Yeah.
So who knows what happens.
Are you a Plymouth fan, Charlotte?
My grandpa used to have a season ticket, and I'd go with him to a few matches, but I don't.
Okay.
I don't follow football closely. I like when City are on, and I get into it.
I was going to say, as Jon turned you into a blue.
Yeah, definitely. That would be my team for sure. And I do really get into it. I love watching them play. I love going to the games. That's a big part of who you are as a person, isn't it? So of course I love that, and I'm interested in it. It just comes as part of you. Yeah,
100%.
Belle's kind of the same, because she supports City like me, but she didn't do until we met. But she likes going to the games. She enjoys the actual games, but she's not so bothered about watching them on telly. She don't find the same sort of atmosphere.
Yeah, if it's a big match,
if it's a big game, she'll sit and watch it. But if you know, if it's just a Saturday at 3 o'clock,
it's
or
like
I'll go on my phone.
Yeah, it's like City Liverpool or you know Champions League final. You watched that with me, didn't you? You know what I mean? Stuff like that.
And I love that. We have like drinks, and it's like we've got our shirts on, and it's something to like. It's like escapism. That's what Jon always says. Collectibles and things like that. It's all escapism from like real life.
Well, it's because you're working hard all week. It's something to look forward to at the end of the week, and it's something to invest. You don't have to invest all your energy into it. Like some people that don't support football think it's just a waste of energy, but you know, you're not giving your whole life to it, are you? Do you know what I mean? It's just a nice on a Saturday. You can sit down and watch City, check all the other scores and stuff. I don't know. It's just a nice part of life, innit? That you should enjoy.
100%.
We've kind of moved away. When we moved away from Manchester, we moved down into Devon, like not far from you guys. And then now we're up in North Wales now. But me and Belle have never really missed Manchester per se, because every time we go back there, everything's so hectic. It's manic. The driving is horrible. You know, every time we drive through there, it's like, I don't miss this place at all. But obviously we miss our family, and we miss people that live there and our friends and stuff. But we don't miss Manchester at all, to be honest.
No, it's 100 mile an hour. It's like a mini London, isn't it? So it's...
Yeah, I said to Jon, whenever you're in a place like London, Manchester, Liverpool, big cities, I always feel an expectation to have to do things like go and see all the restaurants they've got there, all like the shopping centres. But here, there's none of that, so there's no pressure or expectation to have to do those things. I don't know, I feel like you're a lot more like, you know, comfortable, laid back. There's no buzz to spend money and go and do all these...
Yeah, it's just like if you go into the centre of town and in Manchester, shopping, it's great. You know what I mean? You find, you know, shops that you don't have in North Wales and shops you don't have in Plymouth. It's great, to, you know, for when you go back, it's like, boom, we go Forbidden Planet. We can go to the city store. You know what I mean? We can go and get a nice meal. But you just exist in there as well. You don't feel like you're living
Yeah.
almost sometimes. You know? It's just like you're just a piece of the puzzle in there. Do you know what I mean?
You're totally right. Yeah, totally right.
There's a
Before we
million
carry on,
different-
let me have a look and see who's in the chat. We've got lots of people. Thank you, everybody, for tuning in. And let's see if we've got any questions before I carry on with my line of questioning, if you like. Jeff says, are Jon Luc or Charlotte fans of Star Trek: The Next Generation by any chance? When I hear the name Jon Luc, I think of Sir Patrick Stewart's famous character.
I'm not a Star Trekker. I'm always Star Wars over Star Trek. Unfortunately, but the name was inspired by Star Trek. Yeah.
Was it?
Yeah.
His dad was inspired by it. He said that's cool having the JONLUC.
Yeah.
Ah, okay.
And I really like it as well.
But we always the funny thing is Sir Patrick Stewart. He also plays Professor X, Xavier, and we always wanted to call our kid Xavier, like 100%. Our little boy Xavier. So we'd have Jon Luc and Xavier, and he plays both characters. So that's like the connection. That'd be cool. So we need a little boy.
Well, when we first met, we had our baby name list, and Xavier was both top of the list, and we were like, that's meant to be.
Yeah.
Yeah, definitely. John, do you ever go back to the shop you got the United shirts? I'm not sure what that refers to.
So yeah, I was actually on the way to a City game, City versus Southampton it was, and I think it was 12:30 kickoff, maybe a 3 o'clock kickoff, and it's a shop on the way. It's just before Harper It's in Blakely, St Vincent's, and I went in, and there was about 6 or 7 United shirts, and they were all player issue, donated by the academy. So they're donated by the academy. So there was a few goalkeeper shirts. It was just before I met you actually, when I moved down, I had a few of the shirts.
Mm-hmm.
There was a £5 each, and I said
nice.
the goalkeeper shirts sold for 300 each.
And tell them the painful part.
Yeah, the painful part is the lady said, "Oh yeah, we had about 85 shirts this morning. Oh yesterday."
It would have been about 20 grand's worth.
Yeah, it was unreal. So like it was all like Garnacho's era, like in the academy. Yeah. So all the shorts. So even the shorts were selling for like 40-50 quid a pair. Nice. But I think the good thing was they let whoever was in there left some of the goalkeeper shirts, and the goalkeeper shirts are a little bit more rarer because obviously there's only one goalkeeper. So I think I did well getting those ones. But to answer the question, I've been back in a couple of times. I've not found anything similar. But my dad lives around there still. He pops in there, and I don't think he's found any yet.
Keeps checking.
Yeah, but it was Man United must have just made a big donation that day.
Yeah, you just got a bit lucky, didn't you? Or lucky or unlucky because you weren't there at the start.
Yeah, it was lucky we found some. We got a small piece of the pie, but someone got a big pie that day. Or
whoever it was.
Yeah.
They did.
Nice.
Yeah, and they kept.
So you were going off to the City game with bags full of United.
Yeah. But I stuck them in the car.
Oh, okay.
Locked it shut.
Imagine going in with the bags if you were walking in.
Yeah.
Oh, nightmare. But that sounds good. It's funny how in reselling sometimes you come across these little deals and stuff, isn't it?
Yeah, just weird and wonderful. You know, once in a life. Every deal you do is once in a lifetime. You know, you never get the same deal twice, and exactly. There's always a story to tell as well. Everyone's got a story. It
kind of runs into our trainer lady deal that we did. How long ago was that now? What about? Must be nearly 2 years. A year and a half.
It was the first year we met. Yeah, it was like coming to the end of the summer, so it was like the indoor car boots time, wasn't it? Yeah. So I'm not sure what month it was, but me and Chris went to the same car boot unknowingly. We didn't know we was going, both filming, and we was both at this trainer stall, which was it just seemed to be too good of a deal, didn't it? It was just like there was
my immediate thought was it was all fake. I just thought it was fake. It's got to be.
Yeah, you're just looking at it, and then because it was only a small hall, you walk around and you look at it again.
Why are these in a church hall with only 10 other tables?
Yeah, it's like and it was like the guy was Scouse as well. I'm thinking, I'm not sure, and you know what I mean? It's like, but everything was checking out, and the prices were like cheaper, like cheaper than what they should have been as well. And we were just looking at each other, just thinking, I don't know what's going on here. But we ended up pulling the plug, didn't we?
Yeah. And we spoke to the stall holders and sort of sounded out whether they'd be willing to do like a deal on more stuff if they had it at home and that. And then Then we
Boy.
sort of swapped
The-
contact details, and we
Yeah.
WhatsApped, and in the end, we all ended up meeting up at their place and
Yeah.
going through literally tons of stuff. And we did it more than once as well, didn't we?
Yeah, we did it twice.
That's
Yeah.
all on YouTube, isn't it? So it's
Yeah,
nice to
it's
be able
all
to
on
have that
YouTube.
to look
Both our
back on.
channels has got footage on it. It was it's probably the most comments I've had on a video where sort of people like saying, "Oh, it's all fake," "Oh, it's
all
not
fake.
real."
We checked them all out though, didn't we?
we
got them.
checked them all out.
They all got authenticated. Some of the shoes she actually had there had the eBay authentication little tag on them.
Yeah.
Remember, you had a couple pairs like that.
I had a couple of those, and there was receipts in boxes with
showed
her
us the
name and
audit
address
history.
on. It was
Yeah.
crazy.
We could see
How
her
much do you
email.
think you made out of that deal?
I don't know. It must have been like 100 pairs at least each one. The first
And
time.
all the clothing as well.
Yeah, you're
Thousands.
talking like at least, we spent a couple of grand each, didn't we, over the two
Yeah.
times, and it would have been well over 10, wouldn't it?
Over
100%.
10 each, I reckon.
Yeah.
For sure.
Yeah, easy.
That was like a once in a lifetime for both of us.
Yeah, it was just
Have
at
you
the
had a
right
deal
time.
as big as that since then?
We've spent as much, and we've probably not done as well as we have on that. Like value for money.
Value for money.
For the profit margin.
Yeah. In terms of like a second-hand car boot deal like that, I know they were all brand new, but in technically, kind of like a big deal. Yeah, there's no better in that, unless it was, you get lucky again. I'm not holding my breath.
But that's what I was kind of saying before about what are the odds of us both being at that boot sale? I mean, that was quite close to me, but it was a fair distance from you.
Yeah, it was about an
So-
hour from me, and it was very
Yeah,
niche
it's
boot sale
right.
as well. It weren't widely advertised. It was quite a small
Church,
one. Wasn't it?
wasn't it?
Yeah, and I think I went there. I think you probably watched one of Car Boot Chris's videos, didn't you?
Probably.
I think you went there the week before or the month
Yeah.
before. It was every month, wasn't it, or every fortnight? And Chris and I said before the podcast that if we both wasn't there, we probably wouldn't have gone in and done a deal because it was not too much of a big deal, but too much of a risk. Whereas if it was all fake, that would have been like a real big stumbler,
Yeah.
wasn't it? So
I
we
was
both
very
took an
nervous
educated
about it.
risk. Yeah,
I was very nervous about it. It was a lot of money that we put into that, and it worked out in the end. It was a
Yeah.
calculated risk, and it worked out.
Yeah, even the second deal with the clothes, like you're looking at it thinking, "Oh, I'm not sure." Even though you bought all these trainers.
Not so much because by that point, from the very first few pairs you picked up, you knew they were real. But it's a disbelief in how can this be?
Yeah.
It's a caution talking, not so much that we didn't.
Yeah,
trust
because
the
the
stuff.
couple were great as well. You know what I mean? They were really great, and we enjoyed the company. Yeah, it was just a wild day, that one.
It's a weird one. The odds of us both being there, both filming, both. I think I asked the question of the guy, and then you said, "Oh, I'd be interested as well." And then we both said, "Well, let's do it together." And it just made sense. It was just
the perfect storm, wasn't it? It was the perfect.
It
storm,
was. It just all came together, and we just got very, very lucky that day, I think.
Yeah.
And I think John went because we were because it was the start of the journey. Neither of us had any contacts. We had no relationships with anyone. And I said, you need to go further afield and just see what you can find because you were struggling to actually get some stock on the regular.
Yeah, it's like when you move to a new area, it's a bit
Yeah.
like you're a bit of a fish out of water. So you don't have your charity shops that you don't have your car boots. And I think it was out as well, or I think it was a bit of a crap weather for summer for weather as well.
And you were just like, I've got nothing to list this week, and you were really down about it, weren't you?
Yeah, because that was just literally me kickstarting a new eBay account on it, and it was just
Brand
like
new
no
eBay
stock.
account.
Right? Yeah, it was just kind of that was it, wasn't it? It was just there was no death pile. This was it. You got to find stuff to make money, kind of thing.
Have you sold every item out of that lot? Have you still got a couple of bits lingering? I think I've got 2 pairs of trainers that haven't yet sold. And do you remember those? Was it Ralph Lauren?
Oh yeah, the trainers,
like suede ones with zips down the side.
Yeah,
I've still got both those pairs. They I knock them down every couple of months. They will not go at all.
Oh,
I'm going to run around the corner and look at our trainers. There might be one pair there, so let's have a look.
Luckily for me, they were all a size 6, the ladies, and I'm a size 6, so I did very well. I got a nice few pairs of shoes.
I remember that. Yeah. How many did you claim?
I think I got a pair of Doc Marten boots. I got
Oh yeah,
3 or 4 trainers. I got some winter snow boots that were worth like £200. So I took 5 or 6 pairs, but I've had good wear out of them.
that's good. It's always
we
nice
have
when
got-
you get like a bundle and then you can keep a couple of bits for yourself.
1 pair of Sebagos.
Oh yes.
They're like the Wallabies, aren't they?
Oh yes, yeah. I think I had a
Yeah, so
couple of those. Mine went, but obviously, you know.
I love the smell of that. Beautiful. But yeah, at least we got a memento though, and obviously the ones you wear, some a memento from the day. I know Belle's got a couple of pairs. I remember we didn't we have like you both got a pair of slippers and you both got the odd one, so we had to send them. To each other.
We had to send them, didn't we, in the post?
And the madness of sorting it out. That was funny.
But it's just crazy. I was in the Fiesta at the time as well. Do you know what I mean? So I was trying to fit it in the Ford Fiesta. It was tiny, wasn't it?
Oh, it's crammed, wasn't it? Yeah. So much stuff in that.
Crazy.
Let's have a look at some questions. Jeff says, has that epic £100 Lego airport set sold?
It's still on the shelf, Jeff.
He hasn't.
It's still on the shelf. It is still on the shelf, and that's kind of what happens with a lot of stuff like that. I seem to remember there was an ongoing joke about the Sega Mega Drives. They was on the shelf for a long time. They're both sold now, but it is on my list to do, Jeff. It is on my list to do. It'd be just so
Our
hectic.
days are so crazy, especially with Whatnot, that we got about 600 odd pieces going out every week. We're trying to keep eBay afloat.
It's a lot going on. It's a lot going on. Yes, it's a bit crazy, isn't it? But we will get around to it, Jeff. And I'm planning on making a video soon. I've been ready to make it, Anna. So yeah.
Sean says, question to Jon and Shah. As you are a limited company and obviously VAT registered, how do you account for the cash you spend at car boots? Do you have to show receipts?
So basically, Sean, it's just the same what you do as a sole trader. So you just basically keep as best as a cash flow as you can and do the cash receipts. Yeah. So, you know, you've withdrawn £500 for this car boot sale. You spent 440, and then you'd just say, right, I'm carrying over £60 in my cash flow. You'd have maybe a photograph of what you picked up with the receipt, and that's kind of the best you can do. Yeah.
So with the stock you bought at the car boot on a piece of paper, you'd write down 500 withdrawn, 440 spent, 60 to carry forward, and you just take that, and then that's your record for that week with the date at the top. It's as easy as that.
Yeah. Don't go through. Say I paid £1 for that part, £2 for that. Just do like your whole spend. It's just one of them things. It's not perfect, but that's kind of the best thing.
It's the best you can do, isn't it?
Yeah.
Right. Let's have a look. Right. Okay. So, at some point, I don't know when it was, but you guys decided to join forces with your business, right? So you're now a limited company, and How does that look like legally for you two?
So it's just I'm director, Charlotte's co-director. So it's just.
So I gave up my company, I deregistered it. Don't do anything with that.
So you're sole trader.
Yeah. So I got rid of all my sole trader, and then I joined Jon's company, which was already registered as Jon Luc Industries. He's the director, and I'm a co-director. Yeah. So I'm on his payroll. That's how we.
Yeah, we both get director wages. Harry gets a wage as well. So Harry's full-time employee now. He's up to 40 hours. So and it's
what
all
was the thought process behind it? So at what point did you think, this is going to be a good idea?
Obviously, I needed to become a limited company anyway because of how much I was turning over. And then Charlotte, it just seemed silly to,
Jon was moving from the garage into the first unit space, and he wasn't going to be home every day. And I said to him, I don't want to do my own thing at home and you be in there. What's the point of us both going to the same shops buying different things?
I think he was going to have a corner actually at first. She was going to have a corner.
I did for a while.
She was having a little corner.
I did.
in the unit.
I had a rail in the unit, and then after a while, I said, we should just join together. Like, we're going to be like,
Yeah, you didn't pay rent for that corner either.
We're going to be together. Let's just merge everything to one.
It was obviously it was just because it was fresh.
It was a very new relationship.
So we met in June, and my limited company formed in February. So you know what I mean. It was just fresh, wasn't it? So it was kind of a big deal to. It's almost like getting married in business, isn't it? Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yeah. Exactly. Yeah.
And it worked being separate. Whilst we got to know each other, we were both happy doing our own thing.
Yeah.
Different businesses.
Unless
different
when we was in the
finances.
charity shop and Charlotte seen so much, she
we would
wanted
have
it.
a little. I'd go, give me that, John.
You know, I want that for my business. You know what I mean? So it was But it made
everything now that you like buy, that you source, it just all comes into one.
Yeah.
And then
we're both
it makes it simpler in that respect.
Yeah, and we get
100%.
paid the same wage and stuff, and we put money in savings. It's all our same thing now, isn't it? So
well, we're engaged now, so we are pretty much locked in. So all our money's just each other's, isn't it? Really?
Yeah.
So
we still got separate accounts.
Yeah.
But apart from that, it's pretty much all together.
It's just interesting to hear how you do it, because some people like go into partnerships, and then some people, it's all different, and it depends what works for you.
Yeah.
But by the sounds of it, it sounds good.
Yeah, well, before we did it, I did ask for advice from Aaron, QuickBooks.
Yeah.
Aaron for Bofix.
He's on next week, actually.
Is he cool? So we work with Bofix, and he said, the best for you, the best is X, Y, and Z, and we trust him. So
and we each get a pay slip each month. It works really well, especially as we're trying to build up to getting our own house. It's nice to have an individual wage slip.
Yeah. And they do.
Does it work better for you? Because there's a lot of people in your position thinking about getting a house and they're reselling. Is it a better situation to be in yours with a limited company with your wage slips rather than be a sole trader trying to get a mortgage?
I believe so. I believe it's just a stronger structure, but again, it's don't rush into being a limited company just for that fact, because I think you can still be self-employed and get a house. So
it was just the step we had to take. Our turnover was growing. We couldn't stay. We had to go as a limited company.
Yeah.
There was no other option.
Yeah.
So that was our journey's progression. Everybody else's would be different. So
totally, yeah.
Seek advice on your own journey. No two ones are the same. There's so much advice out
Absolutely.
there. You just need to see where you're at and where you're going and go from there.
Yeah, totally. I came very close to this financial year doing similar to you guys, because last year, because of Whatnot, I was so close. I think I was on about 82, 83 by the end of the year, and it was 85 was the limit.
Yeah.
So I was kind of talking to Aaron. I was like, what shall I do? I was in two minds. Shall I do it? Shall I not? And then they announced they were going to up it to 90. And I thought, let's give it one more year and see how it goes. So
yeah.
And Whatnot for me has dropped off a little bit. So I'm losing a little bit on that one.
Well, it's not. To be fair, it's one of them where when it's just you at home, it's like floating just below 90 is like perfect. It's like the perfect. Again, it's like the perfect storm. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
But, because we've really upped it with Whatnot and kind of this kind of virtual beauty business.
Yeah.
And we've got a big place and stuff. You just we've had to smash through it and
of course,
and really go for it. But
it makes sense.
For some it's really great because you're just getting as much as we are. Just staying under there. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
But
so
we're saying to each other, we're thinking of 5-10 years down the line, so we're putting our all into it now. It's still a month. Me and John give ourselves the bare minimum wage just to cover ourselves and our bills, and everything else we reinvest back in so it can keep growing. More employees, more stock.
Yeah, we get holiday in that as well. Do you know what I mean? We're not like starving or anything like that. But you know what I mean? Like we don't.
We take a modest chunk out of what we turn over.
I think that's the way to go to make your 100%. Business sustainable. It's the way to go, isn't it? Because if you're too silly about it, you put yourself out of business. And what I tend to do, I pay myself a set wage every single month. I pay the same amount. I know what my bills are, and I always pay the same amount to myself. But then if there's a big holiday coming up, like we're going to the States or something, I might say, you know what, there's enough in the account to pay myself an extra $1,000 this month because we're going away and I'm going to use it for that.
Yeah. And that's exactly what
on the whole, I just pay myself the same.
Us as well. Yeah.
Yeah. Same here. So I put a bit in savings every month, and then we a wage each, and then savings. So
and then say we have a nice big holiday, we'll take it out of the business with the money there. But I think it is good for any sort of seller to give yourself a wage of some sort to work with, and then keep everything else in the cash flow of your business.
Yeah, budget yourself.
Yeah,
personally, and
cash flow is everything, isn't it? You have a big deal come along, you have a trainer lady deal come along, and if you've not got the cash flow there,
Exactly.
You want to
you've either got to go and get a loan, or you've got to use an eBay loan or a PayPal loan in order to do it. And it's not a bad thing, but if you've got the cash flow, then it's much better.
Yeah, you want to put yourself in the best position.
The best thing we've done is to create different pots in our bank. So we've got a rent pot, a wages pot, a VAT pot, and then a cash flow pot for stock. And that really, we put a certain amount in every week, so we know we've got coverage for everything, and anything left is for stock or for ourselves.
Yeah.
I've got a question here from Ian. Guys, have experienced a recent lack of backup from eBay over false return claims, and I'm thinking of switching to Vinted Pro. Any of you likely to switch over? Are you thinking about Vinted Pro? We did touch on it earlier.
Yeah, we use Vinted anyway, so to switch to Vinted Pro, it's a bit of a no-brainer. I'd not a complete switch. It's just run them side by side. I think that's kind of the majority of what people are going to be doing, unless because eBay's got like 130 million customers. I think Vinted's got like 8 million, so there's still like eBay's got a big chunk of the market and Europe and all that stuff. So it's silly to jump ship completely, but definitely cross-list and get everything.
The best thing to do is use the cross-listing. You've got nothing to lose by doing it. It delists it all for you. It sends out the offers. Like, why would you not do it? That's why kind of. Yeah,
it's not a big job to just get everything cross-listed. You just double your chance of a sale, really.
100%. That's the way to put it.
Yeah, totally. I'm the same. I've stopped. I was signing up to Vinted Pro yesterday. I know everyone's talked about this the last couple of days. I was going through the Vinted Pro sign up yesterday to convert my other account. And obviously, there's an issue at the moment with the data protection side of it. There's it's showing national insurance numbers or UTRs on your account, and that is a massive no-no. So at the moment, you guys will be okay because you'll put your company number in, and that's public information, so that doesn't matter. But for everyone else who's a sole trader, you need to really be careful before you sign up. Until they fix that, because that can't be right.
Yeah, 100%. We're just waiting to finish our registration. I think you've got to wait for your orders to close, so we're just waiting for that at the minute. And then we'll do it. But yeah, I agree. I think it just looks like a little bit of a glitch at the minute, doesn't it? So
it's just a little, quite a big slip up because it's private information. But just hold fire for a few weeks, let it settle down. And then
I'm sure
don't they? I mean, they're leaving themselves wide open for you could someone will take a legal battle.
Yeah, they need to. It should be an easy fix though, just like to not bloody show it. Do you know what I mean? Like, it should be like one piece of code, really, shouldn't it?
Well, maybe let's go and ham on it at Vinted head office.
You think it's not a big thing,
Instead of just showing the number, just say like business ID confirmed. We've given the number to them. They don't need to show it. It doesn't need to be anything. Stupid. Yeah, so I'll definitely have a Vinted Pro account, but I won't be dropping anything else like you guys. I won't be dropping eBay. I won't be dropping whatnot or any of that. I'll just have it in addition to it.
Yeah, of course.
An extra string.
Right, okay, so where are we on the timeline here now? eBay Awards. You won an award last year, didn't you?
Yeah. That was...
You got, what was that for, business?
Community Contribution Award. So it's the same one that Nick and Andrew have just won, actually.
Right.
So it's more relation to making videos and being part of the community and just...
And during that time, his business was kind of in quite a good flow then. So he was vlogging every day from the garage because he was only doing eBay. So you were vlogging the eBay journey, weren't you?
Yeah, it was very eBay orientated because that's kind of where we was going at the time.
You were. You only sold on eBay. You didn't do anything else, did you? So it was all about eBay. But that was an amazing part of life, wasn't it?
Yeah, of course it was. Yeah,
that was a big sort of almost maybe one of your many game changers over the last couple of years. And did you win 10 grand like this? It was this year.
Yeah,
10 grand.
Yeah, 10 grand. Yeah.
So what did you do with the money?
I think we put some of it towards the van, didn't we?
Yeah.
And then just general, just like a big injection of a cash flow. Do you know, key of cash flow again? So more, you can just drop a grand on a big
It was
piece of
cash
stock.
flow to buy stock pretty much.
Yeah, buying a lot more stock and just ramping it up. Obviously, then we moved.
Extra racking, things like that.
Yeah, so as we was just before we won the award, we was just moving into the other unit. So just kind of the next step. We had the space to fill. Everyone says, "Oh, yeah, how are you going to fill that? Bloody massive that." And you know what I mean? That's kind of what people are like. So then we had the money to spend. Not like the business was sustainable anyway, but it's a nice.
It's a cash injection.
It's a nice addition. Yeah, of course it is. Yeah.
And I think for you that was kind of like a wow. I've come back from an empty eBay account and done this from my garage, turning over a nice amount of money. And yeah, it was just like a nice full circle kind of moment. Like you did that off your own back, didn't you? So
yeah, of course.
We had separate accounts at that point, so that was all about Jon's journey and his blogging of the garage. But I was just the extra plus one.
No, but that's really impressive that you managed to achieve that in a relatively short amount of time. There's a lot of hard work goes into that as well, doesn't it?
Yeah. It was just kind of my only sole focus was just get up, and we was doing daily videos at the time, weren't we? So it was just get up, daily videos.
You'd go down to the garage, pack for 3-4 hours, and then list 20-30 items.
Yeah, pack, list, and was just in a routine really.
And compared to
just getting it off the ground again, it's a lot. It's just the footfall and the hard work you need to do at the start is, 10 times. You just got to hustle harder right at the start, I think.
Yeah.
Make it happen. Not that we're working harder than ever now, to be honest. But yeah, you know what I mean? When it's just you and you're in the garage and it's cold and it's December and, you just got to make it happen.
Yeah. And I think it was like realistic what you did. Like most people have a garage. You started it from an eBay account with zero feedback and nothing. You use local charity shops in a new town. I think you showed everyone anyone can do this with like determination and grit, because no one told him how to do it. No one said, here's that. He had to do everything from nothing. So I think that's why
the one variable in that is the person, isn't it? And the motivation of you. Anybody can do it, but have you got the get up and go to actually go and do it?
Yeah, and you had nothing to lose.
And for the year before, I didn't have that. Do you know what I mean? I knew I had it with, I had it in me somewhere, but that's kind of what happens as when you have your ups and downs as well. I knew the fire was inside me somewhere. It's just kind of trying to get it in there. And I think you got that on me as well. Do you know what I mean? So we did it together. Although you say that's my award or whatever, but you know what I mean, I wouldn't have been able to do it without you, or I wouldn't be living in Plymouth, and you know what I mean. So
no, good point.
So you can have 10% credit, 10%.
So Whatnot came along after that, didn't it? And it's another moment in your recent history that has changed the way your business operates. So talk to me about Whatnot and how that went and how it's going.
So
we were in the previous unit just doing eBay. So that was the smaller unit. It was like a room we rented. We could have access like 9 till 5. And then Whatnot started, and I was watching it. And
can I just do a little rewind a little bit? Because Poshmark was around, and I thought it was crap. I thought it was rubbish. I just didn't think it had legs, and it didn't have legs because it finished on it. But when Whatnot, because I already knew about Whatnot from the US. When Whatnot launched all the fashion stuff and everything else, I thought, hang on a minute, because I feel like just Whatnot in general had a bigger brand identity.
You'd already been on the wait list to be approved for something a year before, hadn't you?
Yeah. So I know it's been out a little while before that, about a year, wasn't it, on collectibles and cards and stuff. But when they launched a fashion category, I know you was like, right, can we do it? Because you was watching Portland Pre-Loved. Yeah, and then she won a giveaway. She was buzzing. You know what I mean?
I've got a picture of me my first night on Whatnot, and the screen's like lighting up my face, and I'm just smiling at my phone. I was like, this platform is incredible.
Yeah. So she won like a pack of Smarties or something. Oh, Percy Pigs.
I think I won a pack of Percy Pigs, and I was like, this
I
is
love
it.
Percy Pigs.
Yeah.
This is what I want to do. So we started it in my lounge, in my
so
my bedroom
upstairs in her house. She's got a little lounge, and we did 60 items, I think.
And
clothing.
We were flat on the floor. We said, Jon, we've just sold 50 items. We've got to pack 50 parcels in one night. Like, this is crazy.
Yeah, it was that first show. It just takes it out of you, And now we're doing 6, 7, 8 hour shows, and it's well, don't get me wrong. After it, it's like, whew, but it's like compared to like that first hour, it's mad, isn't it?
Yeah, it just grew and grew. It started very modest. We had a rail. We did 50 or so items. and then the demand grew, and we were able to slowly expand. It didn't happen overnight.
Yeah, so we was doing clothes at first, and then we started doing small beauty shows, didn't we?
Yeah.
And then basically what happened was we couldn't get the prime time slots and do them in the unit because the unit closed at 5. So we had to always do them at home, which is really cramped, really tiny room. So that kind of forced our hand when this unit became available.
So we were 2 units down in another building, and this big unit here, they were shutting down.
So it's a publishing company, and they used to publish Country Life. It was a hunting magazine.
Yeah.
So it wasn't very in at the minute. It's not very thought about, like, you know, in a good way. So they was bought out by a London company and closed them down immediately. So this unit became available. It was very expensive, not very expensive, but a lot more than what we was paying. And I just knew that this was it. Like, we had to take the risk.
It was kind of this is here. It's 2 minutes away from your other unit. It's got all the access you need, bathrooms, kitchens.
And it's flipping huge.
It is huge.
I've seen the videos. It's massive, isn't it?
We just got to take the plunge. We said, this is it. Like, where we are now, we can't grow to where we're being pulled to grow. The demand, everything.
For the size as well, it is a good price as well.
It is a very fair price. People always ask us what we pay, and you must be like scraping by, but it's a really fair price.
Yeah, we pay $13.33 plus VAT. So it's about $1,700 a month, and that is with business rates included as well.
And all our bills.
So
all your bills as well.
We could crank the heating on. We can, so it's always hot anyway.
It's just over £400 a week, which for the size and all the access and everything is
it's
so
huge.
Beautiful.
It is huge for that kind of price.
Yeah, and when we turn in, we turned over 12 grand a couple of weeks ago in 1 week. Well, so when you put it into perspective, it's a snip. Do you know what I mean? We've got it here for 5 years. We're going to grow into it, and we are growing into it.
Every week we turn over roughly about 10k, so it's about 30 to 40k every month. So
yeah, I'd say like 8 to 12.
Yeah.
So we just had our VAT bill for July, August, September, and we turned over 99,000 in 3 months.
That's impressive.
So
that's a lot, isn't it?
So and the rent the rent's about 5,100 for those 3 months. So if you put like the rent to turnover, you know what I mean, like it's affordable, and we're glad we did it, because
100%
we wouldn't have been able to find something as perfect as this.
Without one, you don't get the other. So if you hadn't have got a bigger unit so that you could operate correctly to your capacity, then you can't grow to what you want to be. So
yeah. And we weren't making near that money when we took the plunge as well. Do you know what I mean? I just because Whatnot was taking off, and I seen the opportunity and we just had to take it. It was either that or look elsewhere. I mean, it might have been a smaller unit for more of the price. You don't know.
How has your Whatnot journey changed as you've gone along? Like, from what I've seen, it's like you started off with your clothing rails, like a lot of people do, and I've done it myself. And it feels like you've moved away from that now, and you've kind of evolved into something different.
Yeah, so we was doing clothing for a good while. But
and it did great.
It was really good, really great. But to get hundreds of pieces of clothing in every week is that's tough in itself. And to get it at a price where you're going to make money, that's tough in itself, because a lot of people buying clothes on Whatnot are trying to get it for a snip that they'd get it on, that can put it on eBay and double the money. So everyone's trying to get in at a nice low price.
I think unless you've got brand new tag top stuff, or you've got a deal where the clothes can be free and you split it with the person you get it from, that's where it succeeds. But we didn't have that contact. We were buying per a piece. Still good, still
making good money,
but not enough to
well, we had to elevate it.
We had to elevate it to pay for this.
Charlotte's got a history in beauty. She's worked in cosmetics for years and years. She studied it and stuff like that.
Yeah, I've always worked in it, and it's like my number one passion. And I said to Jon, I really want to try beauty. So I did that in my lounge, 30, 40 pieces. And it was
all right.
It went
Nothing
like crazy.
Yeah, it weren't crazy, but we've all done is scaled up that now, and what we have is a beauty community, or beauty. I'll pronounce my T. Beauty, a beauty like community of ladies that don't know us from YouTube. They just know us from what we do now. So it's completely new. You get the odd one or two that know us from YouTube, but it's completely fresh, isn't it?
You've kind of carved your own niche there, haven't you?
Yeah.
And that's been done from hours and hours of live streaming for months. We do 3-4 shows a week since last November. And when you're spending that amount of time, you do build personable relationships with people. We know about their lives. We know about who they are.
Yeah. So we've got a new Instagram account. We've got a new Facebook group. And that's just growing this kind of beauty community.
Yeah.
Cosmetics and all that. And everyone's like just like-minded people. And they enjoy watching, even if they don't buy. It's just, it's nice.
It's like a safe space. That's what I always call it. People can come and talk about their problems. They say about how do I learn about makeup? I've got a lack of confidence. I've got skin or hair conditions. And it's just a place where even if they don't buy, they can learn. And that's what I'm super passionate about. It's not, I don't always want people to just buy. I want them to feel they can learn. And
yeah. And the key thing about the beauty compared to the clothes shows is the beauty products are pretty much all for the ladies that are buying them.
Personal use.
So it's personal use. So they're going to be spending closer to the retail price. Whereas,
that's the key, isn't it? That's the key.
Yeah. So whereas the clothes shows, a lot of the people buying, it's kind of not for themselves. It's them just trying to get it cheap to a lot of resellers that are trying to get a nice bargain. And don't get me wrong, sometimes you get great money for certain clothes because people generally, I want that t-shirt for myself.
Yeah.
Whereas I'd say like 99% of the beauty stuff is just going to be
yeah.
for the consumer and it won't be flipped on again.
But with that beauty, that people keep messaging me all the time now, where are you getting your stock? How do you do the beauty? The beauty for me is literally like my whole passion. Like that is like kind of like my everything. Like before that, I remember 16 working in Superdrug, and I came in and I said, can I work on your beauty counter? Because I just love selling makeup and being around makeup.
Yeah.
And that was literally stocking shelves of makeup. And people would come in and I'd go, can I give you a tour of the makeup things? And I'd build them a little basket of products. Like people would come in who were transgender, who were losing their eyelashes and hair to cancer. And I'd build them a whole makeup bag. And that's like my core memories of beauty. So for me, it's not just a money maker. Like I don't do it because it makes a good profit. It's literally like my whole.
Yeah, and you enjoy it
I love
for what
it more
is.
than anything.
And you just basically, it's just an adaptation of what you used to do online and it now. So.
And I feel so grateful. I say to Jon every day, I can't believe I get to do this every day. It's like my dream job. So I feel very lucky. But that's taking time.
You sell so much beauty stuff, but how do you source that amount of stuff, and still like make it profitable?
It's just buying in huge quantities from, just like who you know.
But it didn't happen overnight. We had no contacts. We had little cash float to it. So every week we
just slowly scale it up. Yeah. So just literally hustling as much as you can, scouring the internet, meeting people.
You can't sign up and sell 600 items in one show. I started selling 30, and then each week you have more cash flow to buy more. Therefore, you've got more products to sell. Yeah. And it happens over time.
Yeah, it's just a dedication in it.
Yeah, it's consistency. We did multiple shows a week. We reinvested the money we made back in, and now we've built a nice line of contacts. Nobody gave them to us. We didn't know anybody. We had to go out and find it. And when you surround yourself in an environment where you're buying and selling, you naturally attract that energy. So you find yourself in situations where you meet people, you find people, you connect with people.
Yeah, it's just. Yeah, you just need to get yourself out there. It's not even just for whatnot and contacts, just if you're starting eBay, just put yourself out there. If you're starting YouTube, put yourself out there. If you go into a charity shop, ask the question, that's how you get contacts.
Well, when me and Jon were just doing eBay, we put flyers through people's doors saying we buy and sell clothes, toys, collectibles. You just really have to do anything you can.
It didn't work, by the way.
We got a few, but we tried.
At least we tried.
We got a couple of people, but it was usually like smoky stuff, not like.
But the point is, you have to.
But you've got to try stuff. You've got to try stuff. Get in Facebook groups, local buy sell groups and stuff. Just use every tool that you can. Ask the
question. My number one thing, if I buy anything off anybody, I say, "Do you have any more? Are you likely to get any more?" And 99% of the time, they go, "Actually, I have." And I go, "Well, can you take my contact number and save you the hassle of coming to a car boot or doing it? I'll buy it off. I'll buy the whole thing off you."
It's like when we bought them trainers. You asked the question saying, "Oh, have you got more? I can do a deal."
Yeah.
And if you would have asked that question, maybe I would have asked, asked the question as well. Say, "Oh, I'll go." Do you know what I mean? I might have been a bit shy and gone on.
It's like anything at the car boot. If you're buying a few things, they could have a boatload more at home. They just haven't brought, and that's how you do it.
It's a really good point. It's something that I don't do enough, but I do it sometimes, and a lot of the time it does bring, it's fruitful. But I need to do it more.
You have a card, don't you, as well? I seem to remember you having a card as well. You used to pass your card out.
Yeah, I have a card. I haven't got one to hand, but yeah, I have a card with my contact details on. I have all my socials on the back with a scan code, and also a little line that says I'll buy and sell collections and whatever, anything that you're selling. I'll buy it with my email address. And I did a deal recently, a big toy deal. I spent like just over $2,000 on a load of toys and collectibles, Funkos, all sorts of stuff, perfect for Christmas. And that came from it was a viewer of the channel, but they'd bought something on Whatnot. They got my card and they read that line on the back, and they emailed me and said, you might be interested in my collection. I literally bought his entire collection in his room.
That's great.
Yeah, I cleared his room out. It was brilliant. And the guy was such a nice fellow. He might even be watching, I don't know, but yeah, we did a good deal that was good for everybody, and that came from that. So it's worth doing.
Yeah, well, I've said it to you for months that I want to do a card, and the QR code is a link to a YouTube video, a private YouTube video, and it's just going to be like a quick 30-second, like, oh, thanks for buying. This is who you bought from. Blah, blah,
That's a nice idea. Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
Like
this is our socials, Whatnot, eBay, and do you know what I mean? Just kind of like put a face
in
in
orders, and we just thought we've got to do that.
It'll just say scan here or something. You know what I mean? And then it'll be us. I thought that was quite. So you get that done.
You can do something a bit like that. You know, what company is it? You can send a birthday card, and then they can scan something with a personal video on it that you can make. That's kind of the same thing, isn't it?
Yeah, like a similar thing. Yeah, but you know,
on our white van, we want to get a big black QR code and nothing else, so people come up and scan it, and then it's just a link to all our drop down of YouTube, eBay, Whatnot.
Yeah, it's just like, oh, that's mysterious, isn't it? Big, you know, instead of having like on the van, we buy your stuff. Just put a massive QR code. You know what I mean? Like the side of the van. I'm gonna try it out. Yeah.
Try it.
The number one thing for that is always ask the question, because that is how you're gonna get more stuff. And even if that person doesn't, if they're like a collector themselves, they go, no, I'm part of a group and my friend has this to sell. So no matter how many times you ask in a car, I ask on every store pretty much 90% of the time.
It's like garage sales in America. You go to the stall. You say, "Oh, have you got any other gaming stuff in the house?" Because that's the perfect place to be. That's where all their stuff is. Exactly. And it always works, doesn't it? You know.
Yeah.
I feel like I've given away my golden tip there, because that is how you do it.
Yeah. No, it's a great tip. What do you reckon your percentage, like if you think about all your income as a whole, what percentage at the moment is Whatnot?
I'd say so that quarter that I just mentioned, when it was 99,000, I'd say about 70% is Whatnot.
Really? That's a big percentage, isn't it?
I'd say about 70%, yeah.
But because
it's not always been like that, it's just slowly.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Because our day's taken up with Whatnot, we do the show. The next day we're restocking deliveries and shipping it. If we had someone to be able to fulfill all that, we would have the sole time to list on eBay, because our eBay store's still on a good amount, like 20 orders from the weekend when we're listing. It's a nice turnover still. It's a really well-sufficient store.
Yeah, it's just one of them things where
it's time to do it.
You can't do everything, can you?
No, you can't. So, and then YouTube as well, you know what I mean? That's a job in itself.
Yes. But the next stage would have someone in to handle deliveries and restocking shelves. So
it's almost like a warehouse worker.
That'll be the next step. During the day, I'm restocking beauty shelves, undoing pallets, and that's just time. Whereas me and John could be using our skills to list and photograph.
Harry's currently doing 40 hours, and majority of that is packing. 8 hours majority of that. Yeah,
that's a big job, isn't it? I mean, the amounts you're shipping out in a week is crazy. I mean, if it was just me, you just wouldn't be able to do it as a one person.
It's hard enough, just us two and Harry. But
until we had Harry, Harry's only been with us the last few months. Me and John were staying till midnight, 1 a.m. fulfilling all those orders.
Leave it. Yeah,
because
totally.
there was no other option. We had to do it. We would finish work 1, 2 a.m. Trying to do eBay, trying to move warehouse.
When we moved in here, it was just us two, wasn't it? Do you know what I mean? So it was just
Harry's only been with us about 4.
Yeah, it was a leap of faith.
5 months. So you really have to grind for it. We don't get nights off or anything like that, do we?
No, it's what it is. You know what I mean? When it's your own business, you work 10 times harder than what you do.
Yeah, it's our whole life,
else, you know.
And we're so passionate about it. It doesn't feel like work, so we're happy to do 12, 14-hour days, whereas most people were happy to clock off at 5 and chill out.
Yeah, but that's why we have this nice living space in here as well, where we can just come in here and watch an episode of Walking Dead or Dexter,
We got our
and
gym,
you know, and we got a gym, and it's just
You've got
more
everything
like
there to hand, so
yeah.
that
So
you
it's
can
just more
work
just,
and
we
chill
might
out.
be here from 10 till midnight, but we're not for 14 hours. We're not absolutely flying about. We'll do a few hours here. We'll do the show in the night. So it's we just got to listen to your body sometimes, haven't you? And especially with your health and stuff. Just look after yourself.
100%.
Here's a question for you. What do you do when eBay Live comes along?
We've signed exclusive to Whatnot at the minute, so we're under contract with Whatnot.
Okay.
So I'd definitely be interested, and we'll look at it. But contractually, we won't be able to sell on eBay Live until the contract's up, I guess.
And we have built the most amazing community on Whatnot.
Yeah, so it's like you'd have to take our whole customer base over there, and potentially, a lot of them would follow and would come. But from what I've seen of eBay Live, it looks like, again, I've only seen like little clips and bits and pieces. It seems like you're sharing like buy it now listings and stuff. I've not seen like I think there is auctions and stuff, but I feel like this is what Whatnot's great at. Obviously, eBay, we're going to try and do it. So you just have to see, you know what I mean? But after we've got like over 10,000 followers on Whatnot, it's going to be hard to just jump.
That's really hard, isn't it? Yeah.
Well, what I love about the Whatnot.
Go on, sorry, Charlotte.
I was just going to say what I love about the Whatnot is we're getting the most incredible stuff in, and people are getting it at like 80% off retail. So it's like everyone's a win-win. We're getting the quantity in to be able to sell it at a price.
Everyone's getting a bargain, do you know what I mean? And they know they're going to get a bargain, and we're making some good money as well, and that's everyone's happy then. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And we love it. Again, if eBay Live takes off, there will be that question, but yeah, I'm pretty.
You don't know till it happens.
Yeah. I'm not gonna go. Absolutely not, because this time last year, what month are we in? September. This time last year, we wasn't even on Whatnot.
Yeah,
you know what I mean, and now it's 70% of our.
The biggest
business.
thing with reselling is adaptation. So take each day and week as it comes, and you have to keep up with the times and the change. And then when things launch, just give it a go and see how it does for you. That's like the
because that's if we wouldn't have started Whatnot, you know what I mean, it could have gone a totally different way. You know what I mean?
What prompted signing an exclusivity deal with Whatnot?
So it was just benefits, really. So they gave us a little bit more of a marketing budget, just only a small budget. So a couple of sponsored videos and bits and pieces, and just supporting us. So just extra support. It's like almost like a pro seller type thing.
Yeah, it's almost like we've got a not like a manager, but we've got someone we can turn to for questions, and they can give us feedback on the shows.
So they give you like a marketing budget, an ad budget, a little bit of a giveaway budget and stuff like that, which we exceed totally.
Every show me and John do £400 plus in giveaways in beauty stock.
Yeah, and we do like 40 regular giveaways. So we give away a lot, but I think that we just like doing that as well. It's just that's a great feature of Whatnot. So it'd be if you didn't do that, then it'd be a bit
it's part of the fun.
Yeah, part of the fun.
Fair enough. Let's have a quick look at the chat here on YouTube. We've got Leanne Hill says, do Jon and Charlotte have a company pension scheme, as I believe it's a tax efficient way that the company adds to the pension contribution as well as employee part, so would reduce tax?
Yeah, we've got one up and in the process of sorting it out now, actually. Yeah. I think it's Nest Nest pension. Okay. But yeah, I do want to sort out a few different pots and stuff. For sure. I know Leanne. I know Leanne. She ran a big business. So yeah, thank you very much.
With Bofix, they're very good with that. We've got complete guidance in terms of financials and everything.
And Jay says, who do you use for cross listing and how much extra time does it take? Well, as you can see down below, this podcast is sponsored by Sellerator, and that is who I'm using right now. I cross list from eBay to Vinted. You can also do it to Depop. So yeah, that's who I'm using at the moment. I find them to be better than Zipsale, but it's a different kind of process. Zipsale's like an app, whereas Sellerator's like a plug-in to your browser, so it operates a little bit different. What about you guys?
So yeah, I'm going to stay with the theme of Sellerator. That's what we're using at the minute. We just started using Sellerator. I think we're going to be doing a little video with them coming soon as well. But I really like the feature of sending the offers out on Vinted, so you don't have to go through and go send off. They can send them automatically, which is great, because that's a bit of a pain on Vinted. Yeah. But it doesn't take too long as well. Just to answer the question, to cross list, so if you list everything to eBay, if you go whatever cross listing platform you use on, it's normally just a couple of clicks and it's away then.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah. And Mark's got a question. Firstly, congrats on all your successes. With regards to general accounts automating, is QuickBooks any good? And does it cover stock control and cost of goods, etc., for ease of use?
QuickBooks is good. Yeah, to be fair, we've got a bookkeeper in Boffick, so I don't look at the books too much anyway. That's like my bad side. I don't kind of deal with any of that tax and VAT stuff.
We pay them a monthly
amount
to take care of.
Yeah, it is good though. As for a sole trader, for a limited company, QuickBooks is pretty handy. Yeah, it's pretty handy.
Yeah. When I was a sole trader and doing it on my smaller scale, I had a separate bank account I set up. It wasn't even a business bank account; it was just a separate card, and I had all my payouts go to there. I did all my bills on that, and then I just had a spreadsheet and kept.
Yeah, you did it like
ins and outs.
Old fashioned.
Yeah, but it's loads of ways to do it. You
Old
don't need
school.
to.
You just put in every sale in there. I was like, oh my gosh, what's going on?
There's 1,001 ways to do
I
it.
kept saying you don't need to do that. So I need to do.
I like to see what's coming. I'm very.
I said you don't need to do that.
Thing.
Imagine trying to do that now.
Fair enough. Fair play for doing that. Fair play. I'm a sole trader and I use QuickBooks self-employed, but I believe there's a new one called QuickBooks Sole Trader, but I've not looked at that yet. But Aaron from Boffick's, who is also known as the QuickBooks chap, is coming on next week on the podcast. So if you've got any questions about accounting and stuff, then pop along next week.
Yeah,
his knowledge is crazy.
He's brilliant, actually.
He is brilliant.
So amazing.
Everyone who's watching, if you need anything to do with tax, tune in next week because that'll be the one. You won't get a wrong answer, or you won't have anything without an answer.
And Ophelia's got a question. This is a big one. What would be your top 3 things not to do as a seller?
Yeah. I'd say like, just say something like you definitely wouldn't do. So you definitely wouldn't be like have bad customer service. Do you know what I mean? So like,
and I sometimes think there's a pressure to sometimes buy beyond your means and create a death pile. So sometimes there's pressure from all the YouTube videos to keep buying because that's the fun part. But just like take a step back and go, I've got about 50 items or so to list. Let's get into that because I picked it up for a reason. Yeah, stop buying and list what you've got because you picked those stuff up for a reason. You searched it and saw it was 25 quid. So why leave it sat in a corner? Just get it up and out.
Other than that, though, it's an hard one, isn't it? Because what would you not do as a seller? So, like, again, don't be really bad. Like, you get some people that are a little bit, bad mouth in eBay messages and stuff. You just got to bite your tongue and stuff. Don't get involved with that.
Just be dead polite. Just be super nice.
Polite. Just good customer service. Just kill people with kindness.
Yeah.
Other than that, don't ship plates in a mailing bag. Make sure you're packaging well, all that good stuff. But it's pretty straightforward, isn't it?
Yeah, and be like kind and courteous to the shops you source from. And other resellers. If you are only out for yourself and have a negative aura about you, just be optimistic and kind. That is like the number one thing.
Being a seller is just part of your life. So just be a good person, whether you're doing your selling or if you're just out and about, just be a good person. It'll rub off on your business 100%. As well, won't it?
Something I have noticed about you guys is you're always very positive, generally positive about things. I can't remember that many videos that you've put out, that have a negative tone.
No, generally not, because you only want to.
You're generally positive people, aren't you?
Yeah, you want to push positivity into the world, really, because there's a lot of negativity going on. If you load up Twitter or X, everyone knows it.
I would 100%. The worst thing can happen. And I'll say to John, well, this hasn't happened, and X, Y, and Z's going to be okay. Because if you just dwell on those small negatives, you're going to get yourself pulled to that. Well, life doesn't stop when bad things happen. You have to keep going. So don't dwell and focus on what's still good and what's going to be good. And you'll keep ticking over and everything else will go with it well.
100%. it's just one of them things where you don't want to be negative,
and you don't help yourself or your business if you're negative. It's just
yeah,
no point.
and sometimes we get flack for that. Like, we're too happy and just, you know what I mean, like, keep it real. Like, do you know what I mean? Like, you know,
John will sometimes get annoyed at me. Something really bad can happen. He go, just don't try and do your positive 1, 2, and 3.
But it's just like, you know, we're just being ourselves at the end of the day, aren't we?
There's a lot to be positive
good on you.
about.
Good on you for that. So the last couple of years has been pretty crazy, right? You guys have gone like that in your business and everything that you've been doing. So how do you manage to do YouTube as well? Because that's the other thing, isn't it? How do you find the time for that?
Well, at the minute, I've not really found it ever. But I'm planning.
I've noticed you've not put a video out for 3 weeks, right?
Yeah, we was on holiday as well. So we've been
16 days.
We've been back in work now for 3 weeks, and then we had 2 weeks holiday. So then videos went out. We was on holiday. All I want to do now is just get one video out a week. So that's my aim now.
Yeah, starting back with a small goal. Because when we're trying to juggle so many things, some things do give. So
you don't want to overpromise. You know what I mean? Like, I'm one for that. Maybe I'm going to upload every day now. And we did, you know, good. I did for a good few months. You know what I mean?
Yeah, an achievable goal.
Yeah,
things back
but one a week, I think is perfect, and that's what I'm going to stick with at the minute. Especially when the car boots are down as well.
It's a lot harder.
You know, it'd just be a vlog of the week maybe.
But a lot of our YouTube comments are sometimes really negative. Like when we say we're doing X, Y, and Z, they go, "Well, that's going to shut down in a week."
I don't. You don't take that in though, do you? Do you know what I mean?
People do revel in that kind of thing though, like seeing you doing something and then bringing you down to try and tell you it won't work or whatever.
You know what's right. You know what's right in yourself, don't you?
But the YouTube will be back.
Yeah, it will be back. Because I know there's a lot more good than bad on there as well. 100%. So I'm not going to let a couple bad people or a couple negative people like stop us from making videos, because that's not fair on the people that do enjoy watching the videos. So
Jon is really good at that. He can have negative comments and not rise to it.
It used to bother me. It used to like read me up.
Whereas I'm like, Jon, I need to reply and say we're doing X, Y, and Z, and that's why it wouldn't happen.
I just hide. Usually can't comment again. Do you know what I mean?
It's challenging though, isn't it, to deal with the negative comments? I find it challenging as well.
Yeah. People are telling you you're gonna not do X, Y, and Z, but you know you are doing it, so it's hard not to give them a rise. But you just gotta smash through it and know where you're at.
Yeah, shout out to one of the haters out there. You know, it's just one of them. People say we're going to go bankrupt and all sorts. It's just like, come on.
The people that watch us on YouTube, though, they only see what we're allowing them to see. You know, we're not showing them the ins and outs of every single little piece of our businesses.
Yeah.
So how can people make a judgment on that?
Exactly. And everything we are doing and showing is obviously within all our means, else we wouldn't be doing it.
Yeah. And we don't talk about numbers and stuff. Do you know what I mean? We never that's the first time I've ever mentioned how much we pay for them.
We've never mentioned it on Instagram anywhere.
How much we pay for the unit.
We've never said how much we pay. We've never said our turnovers. So you've got exclusive.
I appreciate the honesty. Sometimes it helps to put it into context.
Yeah.
You know?
It's not
so when it's appropriate, it's fine. It's when it's a brag that people don't like it.
That's what I mean. So we don't mention it in videos for that reason. Do you know what I mean? But like people go the other way saying you're not making now
because you don't share.
Yeah, because you don't share. Do you know what I mean? So,
but we just keep that private. We find it. We don't need to say because we're doing well, so it speaks for itself without.
Yeah, you don't. Yeah, you don't have to justify yourselves at the end of the day, do you? And I was always taught by my dad, who's not with us anymore. But when he always used to say, like, you don't share your personal financials with anybody. I think he would turn, in his grave if he thought I was going to announce to the whole world the ins and outs of my financials. He would hate that.
Yeah, 100%.
Like, it's private information.
Yeah. And what you've got to show is a reflection, obviously, with your YouTube and the eBay. It speaks for itself, doesn't it?
You do it full time. You've got a house, happy wife, happy dog. You know what I mean? Jobs are good, and do you know what I mean? You're living a good life, and that's people don't like that. They're like, oh, he's living. You know what I mean? Like
they're expecting you to say.
Yeah, they people who comment negative things usually have got a negative something going on in their life that they're not happy about.
Yeah,
so
you got to feel sorry for them to some extent. They've obviously had like bad things or bad energy around them. So yeah.
Yeah.
Fair dues, yeah.
But I don't get people. I just don't know how people have the energy to be, to comment bad stuff. It is strange, isn't it?
Yeah, it is. What do you think are the biggest hurdles you've faced in the last couple of years in this journey from where you're up to now. What do you think are the hardest bits?
I think moving the units, that's a big hurdle, just overwhelmingly, like moving from place to place. Now we've got like a settled home. Just dealing with.
But there can be constant things. We've had things with like just so many things where it's so stressful and it's all on our shoulders to fix because it's our like.
Yeah, just like landlordy stuff and bits and pieces and business rate stuff. So we got like a letter about business rates, but we're not supposed to pay them. But we had to go to the business rates team and say, look, we don't have to pay them. It's paid by our landlords, etc., etc. It's all sorted now.
Oh, but stuff like that, isn't it?
The strenuous stuff, yeah.
Things you never get taught in school and things no one tells you about. As a business owner, you have to learn along the way.
You just learn as you go along, don't you?
And we're learning together. We're only young. It's our first time ever having a business, so. Some weeks are stressful, but we take each day as it comes and each hurdle as it comes and know there's always a solution to anything. Yeah, it's just like the business rate thing. It's just one of them things where they don't teach it in school, do they? No, but everything. And it's like we knew we weren't in the wrong or anything like that, but we had to wait weeks for him. And you get scary letters. You have weeks. Yeah, that is stressful. Yeah. Really, well, and we're obviously a couple as well, so we work together 12 hours a day and then have to go home together. Take it home, yeah. It isn't easy because most people go to work and they can leave it at work and come home to their partner. Yeah, I hate things being in lingo, so you've got to wait weeks and weeks to get something sorted. Do you know what I mean? I'd rather get it nipped in the bud there. Yeah. And get it sorted, because that's the killer for me, having to sleep on things. Yeah, but we always find out a way. There's always a solution and stuff, so yeah. Yeah, nothing's impossible to sort out, is it? There's always a way to sort everything out. That's what I always say to John, like, there's no be all or end all. There's always another alternative, even with the worst ever. Yeah, just like we tried to lease a car through the business, and because we're a new business, we couldn't. And that was just because we're a fresh business. We've not got 2 years worth of accounts. You've not got enough behind you to do it. Yeah, so it's just one of them things where we have to do it personally, and it's just little bits and things. Things like that happen every week. There's like a thing that comes up here. There's a business thing there, but we just tackle it together. Just little knickknacks, nothing crazy, no. Yeah. Okay. Right. I always ask the same 3 questions at the end of every podcast, so you guys are no exception. The first one is, have you got any reselling words of wisdom or a quote or a mantra or something you'd like to share with everybody? I think Charlotte's is going to be always ask a question. Always ask the question. That is my number one, because that is how you open up doors. And just to know, no 2 journeys are the same. You can't compare yourself to what you're seeing on Instagram. Everyone's family life, personal life, goals are different. Someone may just want to have enough to tick by, cover their bills, have enough to, Yeah, everyone's got their own journey. Other people want to have a huge warehouse with staff. Everyone's so different, so you really can't compare. Yeah, like we don't have kids or anything like that. This is what we do, and this is, at the minute, this is all we do. So I wouldn't compare yourself, and just take your journey as it is. Yeah. Mine, I like this. Mine's nothing grows inside the comfort zone. 100%. So I like that, where you've just got to step outside your comfort zone. I like my comfort zone. Yeah. Oh, it is, don't it? In the morning when you're in bed. Oh. Well, I always said to John, if I'd never met John, I would have stayed in my lounge forever, just doing enough to tick by, not really pushing myself, just like comfortable, just paying the bills, ticking by. And someone will probably comment now saying my belly grows inside the comfort zone. So that's the only thing that grows inside there. Yeah. But yeah, just a thing of, like, take a leap of faith. If the next step you're taking's not scaring you a little bit, it's probably not a big enough step. And I've always said to John, if that scary step fails, you just go back to where you comfortably were anyway. So you've really got nothing to lose. You can only gain. That's what I always say with all those questions. Yeah. You can only gain from taking a scary step. Good. Nice one. And have you got a best or an unusual sale to share? Personally, I really like the Man United shirt one. So I think there was 6 shirts, 4 pairs of shorts and that, and they were going for 250, 300 each. So it was like 25, 30 quid, and it was, 12, 13, 1400 quid back. And you're passionate about football as well, so it's just it was just like that always helps. Once in a lifetime, once in a lifetime. There's I always tell the Nintendo 64 story, as well. I was at a car boot in Haywood in Bury. I don't know if you know it, Chris. Queen's Park.
I don't know that one.
And it was just a little car boot. It was like 2017, I think about 2016 actually.
Right at the start of your
Yeah,
journey.
so it was a sunny day. There was a Nintendo 64 in the box sat there with boxed games and stuff, and I think they wanted 30 quid for it. So I walked around the car boot, and went back to it and got it for 25. There was no resellers there then. Do you know what I mean?
That's
It was just
You
like,
left it and you walked round.
Yeah, I was the naive 16-year-old. You know what I mean?
On his
Bloody hell.
bicycle.
Yeah, on my bike, and it's one of them things where it was just reselling and stuff like that. It just wasn't a thing then. Do you know what I mean? So it was like minting box Nintendo 64, and I passed it up, and then came back. I was like dwelling on it. Do you know what I mean? Thinking about it.
Can you imagine?
Yeah, and just like now, you wouldn't even see the table now, would it? You know?
Yeah.
Probably be on
That's
vintage
amazing.
now.
I think
What
my
a
number
find.
one, when I find like a vintage wedding dress and someone says they buy it for their wedding, and it's just so special knowing like they've
That's
had
nice.
that. I've had that a few times, and that always makes me feel nice that I've supplied it for like the most special day in their life.
Yeah.
Yeah.
If you actually type my name in on the UK reselling group, it'll come up. I posted it. I think it was 2016. This Nintendo's in there, so someone can find that.
Okay.
Yeah, 8 years ago. It's crazy.
Mad. Have you got a goal like for the next year for your business or for yourselves?
Just scaling it more in it, so more staff.
I'd like us to have a home of our own.
Yeah, I'm getting a house as well.
Do you
And
think
the main reason-
that's going to happen in a year?
Yeah.
Are you there?
Yeah, the main reason we hadn't done it is because we wanted to have a nice lot of like pay slips on our books, because before that I was poorly for 5 years, so I didn't have a consistent income history, and John was kind of similar, so we just wanted to have,
I was just doing
something
nothing.
to
I was
show
just
for it.
like doing. I didn't really do much for a year. I was just
we were bedbound
out
kind
of action.
aren't
Out
you?
of action. Yeah, out of action.
So hopefully that's a nice goal for us. And then I'd also like to take on another member of staff just to help with the warehouse operations, just to take the pressure off us so we can focus back a bit more on eBay and YouTube.
Yeah, just more of the same, just scaling up,
Seeing where we go, we don't know where we'll be next week. Just
it's like this time last year we didn't even know what I didn't know what Whatnot was, but we wasn't on Whatnot.
Yeah.
And this time next year we might be on a completely new platform.
Who knows? Who knows where
knows?
we'll
we
be
end up.
this time next year? That's the exciting thing, isn't it? Who knows?
Yeah.
Because you guys are just doing amazing. So
And
like,
I always
who knows where
actually
you'll
say,
be?
John, if everything went up in the air, which obviously wouldn't happen, but
Yeah,
the
but
worst thing
if
that
it all
could happen,
crumbled,
we could go back to the garage and be quite happy. Like there's nothing ever that can be completely awful.
Yeah.
So I'm excited to see how far we can grow it and push it, and
definitely.
just keep going.
Awesome.
Yeah, absolutely.
Thank you so much, guys. Thank you so much for
I've
coming
really
on and
enjoyed
spending
it.
this
Thank
time.
you.
No,
Yeah,
it's been a really great chat, and thanks for all your honesty as well. It's refreshing. Thank you.
You're very welcome. It's been a pleasure.
Oh, cheers. I was talking like the title of this I put as "It's been a game changer." Now, surely the biggest game changer for you both was YouTube, because otherwise you wouldn't have even met, right?
Yeah, definitely, yeah.
That
When
has to be.
when I was watching the car boot videos, I didn't think, I watched you, Chris. Well, I remember when I first started going around the car boots in Plymouth, I'd only been doing it a few weeks, and I was like, I think I know that, I've seen that guy on YouTube. So I watched everybody, and it just so happened that we ended up here.
Yeah.
Fate brought you
For a
together.
reason, but then I wouldn't have done YouTube if it wasn't for Nick Hills. I wouldn't have been a reseller. So you know what I mean. And Nick wouldn't have been a YouTuber if some in his life he wouldn't have been a reseller. It's just the butterfly effect, isn't it? It's just a crazy domino effect of a lot of us wouldn't be here if Nick and Zahir and all that weren't making videos.
That's why you shouldn't get too caught up on where you are right now, because things can change so easily. Before I met John, like we said, but we were both in such bad places, didn't have like proper jobs or businesses. So just don't get too stuck down on where you are right now, because things can only always get better.
Yeah.
That's what we always say to each other.
Sliding doors moment. If you hadn't have messaged him and said, "How do I do my tax?" or whatever.
Yeah.
He says now he had no idea, because obviously we have all our books done, but you tried to be helpful, didn't you?
Yeah, it's one of them things. It's always been one of them things where I just honestly, it's just not a fun thing, is it? It's just like these bloody taxmen taking all our money, and you know what I mean. I just say I hated it, but I just get it dealt with by the accountants now, and that's that. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
I just
You've
pay
got
the
to
bill.
ask the question, and that's how I ended up everywhere.
Yeah, I was like, I totally know what's going on.
Right, thank you guys. Where can people find you?
So it's Jon Luc on YouTube, JONLUC, and then on Whatnot it's Jon Luc and Shah. Instagram, Jon Luc YT, And then we've got Jon Luc and Charlotte on Instagram as well now.
If you find one, you'll find the other.
Yeah, you'll find them all.
Exactly.
Yeah. But
and I've put links below for I'll probably put your YouTube channel down, and then people can probably just find you from there.
Cool.
Thank you.
Thank you guys, and thank you to Reselling who has sponsored the podcast today. Really appreciate it. Go check them out, especially now with Vinted Pro being up and running. That's it for today. Thanks again, guys. Really appreciate it, and thank you for everybody watching or listening. If you're listening on Spotify, Apple Music, etc., then please download the podcast so that you get each episode automatically downloaded next time. That would be much appreciated. And we're pretty much done. So I think next week is Aaron from Bofix QuickBooks. So if you've got any questions about accounting or anything, then pop along and have a listen to that one. See you all later.
Thank you for your time. Thanks, guys.
Thanks, guys.
Thank you very much.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
That's it for today's episode of the Everything Reselling podcast. I hope you've enjoyed it. Don't forget to like, to follow, or to subscribe wherever you're watching or listening to this podcast. And we'll see you on the next episode.